As we continue to move through the Would You Rather series, I don't want to get burnt out, and I don't want you guys to get burnt out on talking about wide receivers. So we've talked about those top tier wide receivers. Next, I want to go ahead and talk about some cornerbacks. And the first conversation that we're going to have here for cornerbacks is, would you rather keep, obviously we're going to have Juju Brents, Jalen Jones, Dallas Flowers will be back from injury. Hopefully, we're resigning Kenny Moore, right? On this channel, we've talked about we're resigning Kenny Moore. So we're going forward with the assumption that he will be re-signed. He's going to be here. So you have those four guys. So my question is, do you rock with those four guys and then try to find, a lower tier depth piece, or just make a mere speed, the number five, and just go with what we have? Do we just go with what we have, or would you rather go into free agency and try to get guys? And I want to ask this question first just to gauge how we're feeling. Is this something that we're really that interested in with what we've seen from these young guys? We know Juju Brents looked good while he was on the field. Jalen Jones has been really good. Dallas Flowers played for the first four games, looked like he was going to be good. He was starting to really pick it up. And then obviously we have Kenny Moore, and he does his thing. So when you look through this list, like, there are going to be some big name free agents next year. You have a Dory Jackson, Kendall Fuller, Stephon Gilmore if he doesn't retire, Chidobe Awuzie, Emmanuel Mosley, which is a very interesting guy that I think would be interesting to think about picking up for us. CJ Henderson, who's been a little rough at times, but has the measurables that the Colts like in their corners, right? And then you have Rocky Sin going to be available, Jalen Mills available, and a guy that's been playing on a rookie deal but has been one of the best at his position over the last few years, Kansas City cornerback L'Jarius Sneed is going to be a free agent next year. And sure, there's a good chance that the Chiefs want to re-sign him, but if they don't, I mean, that'd be a big name to bring in. So, again, my question to all of you is, how would you want to go about this? Would you rather have what we have go into next season with the same guys, or do you want to explore free agency? Because as you can tell, there's a lot of good names that are going to be free agents in the cornerback market. But then you look at Juju Brents, who played in 4 games, ended up with 24 tackles, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble. And to have those stats in his first 4 games, that's great. He was making plays. He's a good tackler. He had 1 game where he had 9 tackles, had another game where he had 7 tackles. Like, to have 24 tackles as a rookie corner in your first 4 games, like, that doesn't happen a lot. Corners are usually, pass breakups, interceptions, that kind of thing. They don't, especially the outside corners. Slot corners see some activity, obviously, but those outside corners don't always see a whole lot of activity. Juju Brents is a willing tackler. He's a good tackler. He stands at 6'3", like, he's got the long arms. He's a big guy. He's exactly the build that we want here. And with his build, he can lock up all types of different kinds of receivers. So it's nice to have him. And Jalen Jones is a lot of the same, right? He's a guy that's 6'2", 203 pounds. What we've seen from him, he hasn't been perfect. Mike Evans got him a couple times. But as a rookie, you're going to expect that, especially those corners, eventually there's going to be some miscommunication somewhere, and they're going to mess an assignment up. That happened once or twice in the game with Mike Evans, especially on the touchdown to Mike Evans. Jalen Jones and Rodney Thomas end up covering the same receiver. Mike Evans ends up by himself in the corner of the end zone. So that kind of stuff's going to happen. You have to know that kind of stuff's going to happen with these young guys. But for what Jalen Jones has done, it hasn't been, as much as we've seen from Juju Brents, but there's also a reason for that. Like, he has 22 total tackles and 2 passes defended. And that's in 5 games so far. So what we've seen from him is nice. There's also something that hit Twitter yesterday from Next Gen Stats, and it's the lowest completion percentage over expected. And this is since 2016 for rookie cornerbacks. And Jalen Jones is at number 1 with a minus 12.6. The next closest, Devin Witherspoon, which is actually this year, at a minus 9.6%. Jack Jones last year at minus 9.3%. And then after that, it drops to minus 7.8%, minus 7.7%. So what Jalen Jones is doing is better than what we've seen from any rookie, at least since 2016, when Next Gen Stats started to record these kinds of things. So even though he's not getting the pass breakups, he's not getting the interceptions, he's also not letting guys just get the ball all the time. He's making things difficult for the quarterback, and the quarterbacks are having inaccurate passes. Okay, and there's a little nugget down at the bottom of this thing that says Jones has allowed just 0.9 yards per coverage snap this season. That's the fifth fewest among all cornerbacks in the NFL, with a minimum of 150 coverage snaps. So Jalen Jones, just in all aspects, even when guys catch the ball, he's not giving them yards after the catch, and that's huge. So what we're seeing from these rookies is really promising. We came into this season being so worried about the secondary, and what we saw from Dallas Flowers early on was promising, and what we've seen from Juju and Jalen has been promising. You know, and I mentioned Dallas Flowers. He only was able to play in 4 games this season, but he ended up with 15 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and had a couple pass breakups. So what we've seen from the corners, I think, is promising for the future, especially having, a couple of rookies, one guy in his second year, going to be in his third year next year, coming off an Achilles injury. So I guess my question is, if we go and get T. Higgins, we've already talked about getting T. Higgins, right? So if we get T. Higgins, that's going to take a chunk out. So the question is, what else are we going to do to be able to open up space to get one of the top flight free agents at cornerback next season, like L'Jarius Sneed or like an Adoree Jackson or a Kendall Fuller? Like, these guys are going to have a high price tag. So, do we go after one of the big guys and then just have really good cornerback depth going in the next season? Or do we try to allocate that money somewhere else and ride with what we have again? Do we just move Amir Speed up, have him be the 5 next year and figure it out from there? Do we try to bring in, Rocky Sin as a depth piece, bring him back to Indy? There's so many questions. And, before we went full blown into cornerbacks, I just wanted to gauge, do you guys think we should, worry about cornerbacks in the offseason? Do you think we should just ride with what we have and continue to develop them? What do you think? You let me know down in the comment section. And once I get your guys' input, we'll start making videos either for this or for other positions. I know some other positions that we definitely need to address. So if we have to go a different direction, we'll do that. But again, I need your opinion. So let me know again down in the comments. And subscribe with notifications on so you get notified when all these videos do come out. Of course, injury reports, pregame updates, any news and updates that comes out, I'll get to you guys as soon as I possibly can. So again, make sure you hit that sub button and hit that notification bell so you get notified when those videos do come out. And as always, I appreciate you stopping by for another video, and take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.